So that election was just a mess. And Prince Museveni had warned that if you rig elections, I'll go to the bush. And indeed he did, and went to the bush.
How better has the hygiene of elections become?
You can see now, elections, we are holding elections every 5 years. In fact, I heard the other day some people saying that we have no evidence. Was it General Mugisha Muntu? That we have no evidence. I don't need to go to court. What does that mean? A senior man, a senior military officer, saying that I have no evidence, that we were not organized. That's from one opposition leader.
Okay. With the level of despondency in the country, in the wake of the recent elections, do you find any cause for the country to celebrate, or it's more of a reflection?
We need to celebrate, especially now that President Museveni won with a very big percentage, 71 point something percent. It's not a small thing. That percentage shows that NRM is becoming more popular, more loved than President Museveni as well. So we need to celebrate. Some of us who are in NRM need to celebrate now than ever, because people are enjoying the leadership of NRM and the fruits.
Celebrations of this kind ought to be national in character. What is very national about today's celebration?
But NRM is in power. NRM is in government.
So it's about party, more to do with NRM as a political party.
It is NRM Victory Day. So we celebrate NRM the day it came to power, and we're celebrating the achievements of NRM. For the 40 years it has been in power.
Well, I'm now joined by Honorable Emmanuel Dombo Lumala. I'm sandwiched by yellow. Good to have you, and a very good morning.
It's a pleasure to meet you this morning.
Morning, Honorable.
Morning.
Yeah.
You've been around for a while, 40 years down the road.
Absolutely, yes.
How significant is it that the country ought to celebrate a military takeover of power?
Depending on what the takeover symbolized.
Military.
Yes.
That involved bloodshed.
Absolutely.
And
yes.
it's what we are celebrating today.
Even as human beings who are liberated by bloodshed of Jesus Christ. So there is symbolism in shedding blood. So shedding blood was not only shed in the country, even Jesus shed blood for us. So you can see that's how important the symbolism is. But to you, who looks behind and reads about what used to happen many years ago.
I was around.
You are around. What do you see when you compare with what used to happen those days? And the level of transformation that has happened since 1986. Aren't you happy about what Uganda has gone through?
I mean, yes, you took power. The country moved on. Do you still need to remind us that Ugandans had to shed blood? And moreover, you came with a 10-point program, which you have since ditched.
Was there another Jesus born and who shed blood yesterday? Jesus shed blood 2,000 years ago. And they keep reminding you every day in church. Doesn't that happen to you when you go to church? Don't you even have a name Simon because of that? That is how important and significant the history we go through is, and especially what symbolizes and means in our lives. Because Jesus died and shed his blood for us many years ago.
It sounds outrageous when you compare NRM with Jesus. I mean, the analogy doesn't really connect.
There are two different incidents which I'm showing you. That is part of our history. In Christianity, I'm a Christian. The shedding of blood and the salvation by Jesus Christ is part of our history. The transformation of Uganda into what you are today, you know what used to happen. You said you are there. You know what Uganda was, a totally failed state. There was no election. We have just gone through a very democratic process.
No, there was an election that compelled President Museveni to go to the bush with his colleagues.
Absolutely, but you know what happened in that election? Even the candidate died, who was aspirant in Kasese. Members of parliament were murdered here. Right now we have had an election, and right now the city leadership has just changed from one hand to another hand.
And the closest contender to the president is missing.
Yeah, he's hiding. He has chosen to hide. All that is freedom. Those freedom of choice. When people choose what they want to do, as long as it is not contrary to the law, what did you want government to do about it?
Mr. Kawamara, let's focus on the theme. Tribute to the patriots who ushered in a fundamental change. Deep down your heart, do you think the patriots who shed their blood would still feel happy and proud of the NRM 40 years later?
I think so, because in fact we still have some of them around, and some of them are still in government. So they're happy, because when they fought, some of them didn't know they would see the light. They would see the achievements.
Where?
So those who have seen the achievements are very happy, and of course we pay tribute to those even who passed away. Some of us who remember those guys, we had a number of friends in NRA, like Brigadier Shefali, late Brigadier Kanyankore, late Shama, late Jero Wende, late David Ndayondi, and I can name 100 in one or 10 minutes. I know those guys. They died in battles. Different
And
battles.
what did they die for?
For peace and security, for democracy. If you remember that song which they sang even when they were still in the bush, watoto wetu walienda wapi? Walienda kupigania democracy. So they died for the democracy of this country. That's why you see Honorable Dombo talking about the democracy even in the city here. Power moving from a DPF guy to NUP. That's democracy. Very good example in the city.
A deeper reflection.
Yes.
I want to score you on the 10-point program, for instance.
Yes.
Democracy.
Yes.
How would you score yourselves out of 100?
Out of 100, 80%.
What are the benchmarks that you use?
That we, every 5 years, we have elections.
A ritual.
Not
That's
a
a
ritual.
ritual.
If it was a ritual, people wouldn't be bothering with themselves to come out in big numbers, to campaign, to mobilize, to talk at all levels, even LOC1. You remember our NRM structure elections, what happened in the structures, even up to Kololo here. People are fighting up and down because they know there's a democracy.
Is this the quality of election that you would really vouch for?
See, the word quality is comparative. You can't say, I can't say that the quality is what we wanted. Things change. There's the ism the people have creates at times battles and people.
Security.
Security, marvelous. At least that one we have maintained throughout the whole country.
Consolidation of national security and elimination of all forms of sectarianism.
Yeah, and that's true. That's why you are seeing in the government, we have a president from Ankole, the vice president is from Teso, the speaker is from that side of Bukedia, the prime minister is from Bonyoro, so there's no secretary. You see how the president, how he appoints his people. These are from Karamoja among the cabinet. These are from this side, Kisoro, where? So, elimination of secretary.
Defending and consolidating national independence.
Yes, of course. That one at least he has achieved. Not only in Uganda, even across the borders.
Honorable Dom, I want you to do an honest score sheet for yourselves. Do you think NRM passes the tenets of democracy?
You know, Simon, if we had powers to lock ourselves in a room and we could only show smoke after the election process, then nobody would know what transpires inside. But we're running a democracy in a democratic world. Why there is free space, free individuals, and free press. In situations like those, democracy can only be a product of its
Free? Did you say free?
press.
Okay.
I said free press because you saw how the press covers democracy here.
Okay.
The depth of their coverage is such that, so democracy can only be a product of what the population is. The level of education, the level of national consciousness, the level, quality of the press, the opinion of the editors, and what they intend to show. What you see in America, you have had President Trump. That's one of the beacons of democracy, which we talk about. When time came for him to when the transition reached and he had to hand over to Joe Biden, he did not fulfill the rituals that were supposed to be done, purely because he despised and criticized their democratic credentials. So in Uganda, we are yearning to do the best. We are not the best we should be because of the inherent problems of bribery, corrupt election officials, people who conspire to fail our machines when we bring them the BVK machines, people who bribe voters. But on the general, that's why you had my brother rating himself. I would have chosen to do more than 80. But he was conservative enough to say that there is a 20, which we are not doing right. But if we have tried to do the best in the 80, people should have hope.
Okay, 40 years down the road, what kind of democratic aspirations could the country maybe have lost?